NoFap. You've probably heard it before. Every self-improvement YouTuber places NoFap on the pinnacle of human achievement. If you can go a full year without beating your meat, you are better than everyone else, or so they say. I'm only making this video because it's such a big thing in the self-improvement space and everyone wants to hear about it. I did a poll, like everyone said they wanted this video. So I don't personally think it's that big of a deal as other people make it. I think it's just, one of the smaller aspects of self-improvement and well-being. But I'm going to talk about it, get it over with. My history, personally, I was an 11, 12-year-old growing up. I had internet access. Obviously, I did it. I did it a decent amount throughout my teenage years. And just recently, like over the last year, I just completely lost interest in it. It just, it doesn't do it. I guess I just grew out of it. But personally, I never went through this whole NoFap enlightenment period when I realized it was the thing that was destroying my life. I never had that, and there's a great bit of shame involved in like going around in self-improvement forums. Like if you do it, you're this terrible dopamine-infused person. You're ruining your life. I personally don't see it that way. It's biological. Human beings and other animals do it. And we have been doing it since we were cavemen. And you'll go to a zoo, you'll see a bonobo monkey just stroking their shit like in the middle of the zoo in public. So I don't think it's this naturally bad thing. I mean, it's biological. It's what we were built to do. And there's a whole lot of shame going around for people doing what they were biologically infused to do. So personally, I don't think the act of beating your meat is bad in and of itself. But what I find interesting is that these NoFap things, they don't get to the root of the problem. The reason choking the chicken is so bad is not because you're getting these instant hits of gratification all the time, because at most you're doing it 2 times a day. That's like 30 minutes out of the day. The biggest problem with this whole fapping thing that people are doing nowadays is that they're doing it to internet videos called pornography. And I don't think fapping is any problem whatsoever, but this whole internet porn thing, it is a massive problem because it's not something that was biological. It's not something that bonobo monkeys are doing at the zoo. It's literally something that we created with the last 100 years of society, and it is completely ruining people. When you hear the term gooner, that gets thrown around a lot in the internet discourse. A gooner is someone who spends all their time at home watching porn and then fapping. And I think that is where the actual problems come about, because what you're doing when you're going online and watching these videos, these fake videos, it's giving your brain that satisfaction that previously you would only be able to get if you went out through, because let's make the great distinction between watching porn and actually having sex. Watching porn, here's the 2 steps. You turn on your phone and you do it. It's about a 20-second process and anyone can do it. To have sex, you got to go out into society, make conversation, prove you're a trustworthy person, make a connection, go on a couple dates, have the courage to bring them back to your house, then make them. It's literally a weeks-long process. You got to have a bunch of skills to do it, and that's how society is supposed to work. There's this reproductive thing that feels really great, and it's awesome, and the only way you can get it is by learning these skills that are very important. But porn completely drives a nail through that entire process, and it's giving these people these false sense of satisfaction that otherwise they would because if porn wasn't a thing, more people would be going out and communicating, because that would be the only way to get that type of satisfaction. But yeah, this whole NoFap thing, it places shame on the wrong thing. There's no shame in stroking yourself a little bit, have a good time, whatever. That's fine in and of itself. But if you're getting that pleasure from going online and looking at videos of other people doing the deed or whatever, you're completely negating any need to go out in society and do these things, because I personally believe doing it without the porn videos isn't satisfying enough. So if you weren't watching porn, you have to go out and you have to meet people, let's say. But the biggest problem is just the people, they watch porn all the time, and then when they go out in society and they decide, maybe I do want to talk to a woman, they have no idea how to do it because their brain is so jarbled, destroyed from watching these videos of false reality where the girl walks in and she's like, oh, can I suck it? Like, that's just not reality. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the biology is exactly. But when you watch these videos, your brain kind of makes these connections that, okay, if I want this act done to me, I just got to sit in a room and call a delivery girl or something like that. Or I got to deliver a pizza and then walk in, and that's how I get it. And the brain, if you're watching porn every day, your brain's going to start making these associations that this is what's good for me. This is what's going to get me these things. And it's just a complete reversal of how things are supposed to be done. And it is genuinely destroying people. I talked in my last video about how social media is destroying people's brains. And I do think that's true. I think another thing that's destroying young people's brains is just watching all the porn constantly, because it's destroying your idea of what sex actually is. Sex is something that is achieved by creating a good connection and being able to go out, have social skills, do all that. But when you're watching porn all the time, your brain just completely ignores all that. And it's like, okay, this is just something that should happen to me and I should get. But in reality, that's not the case at all. And again, with NoFap, like the whole thing about like keeping a streak, oh, I NoFap for 100 days, I'm the best. It's a number, and people act like if you break your streak, you're like 20 days in or whatever, and they're like, I relapsed. Oh, you relapsed? Oh, wow, okay, I'm so sorry, you crack addict, that you relapsed into your terrible drug addiction. Like, who cares? It's like, because people act like if you break the streak, you lost everything, but no, that's not the case. Okay, I'm going to say this. You shouldn't even care about your no-fap streak. You should care about a no-porn streak. But if you are going to care about a no-fap streak, don't call it a streak. Because the streak is the idea that, like, if you do it 100 times and then relapse once, then doesn't matter if you do it 10 more times. But what I think you should be counting is, like, if you really are trying to tone it down, like you're doing it every day, you're doing it too much, you know it's a problem, try to just reduce the amount of times you do it in a month. Be like, all right, if I'm doing it 30 times in the last month, I'm going to go for 20 times the next month, and then 15, and just slowly wean yourself out of that lifestyle. But the idea that you got to go completely cold turkey from doing it all the time, go on one streak, it's not healthy, because if you break the streak, then you're like, oh, well, I guess I'm a gooner again. I hate the word gooner, but that was the only word I could come up with. But yeah, there's just the idea that like you have to have a streak of not doing it all, and then you break that streak, you're a failure. No, just try to change your daily habits into like doing it every day to just maybe every other day, and then once a week, and then once a month. And whenever you're trying to get rid of a bad habit, like you shouldn't be thinking of, I need to immediately be perfect all the time. You need to be like, all right, I'm just going to try to slowly cut this out of my life and be a different person. But I hate this whole thing about people logging in their no-fap streaks and bragging about it and claiming that like it changed their life. It's not going to change your life. Like maybe you not fapping, it's going to make things slightly better. You'll have a little better dopamine baseline, whatever. But it's not going to change your life. And at the end of the day, self-improvement is about a lot more than how much you're touching your penis. And that's all I have to say on this. So leave some comments what you want to see in future videos. This is the last time I'm talking about NoFap. That's all I got. Peace.